get all those.
Yeah, if they have them.
Yeah.
But all these are some of the ones we bought are crossed. They have some lag on them.
That way we can have good boys. Yeah, we can get rid of that.
Through rocky arroyo, so dark and so deep, down the sides of mountains so slippery and steep, your sure-footed good judgment wherever you go, your safety conveyance, my little Chapo. With a single or double or lead of a team, over highways and byways or crossing a stream, you're always in fix and you're willing to go whenever you're called on, my little Chapo. Oh, Chapo, my pony, Chapo, my pride, Chapo, mi amigo, Chapo, I'll ride from Mexico's border across Texas llano to the Salt Pecos River. I ride you, Chapo. You're a good roping horse, you were never jerked down. When tied to a steer, you'll circle him round. Let him once cross the string, and over he'll go. You sabe the business, my cow horse Chapo. One night on the llano, a hailstorm began. Cattle stampeded, the horses all ran. The lightning it glittered, the cyclone did blow. You faced the sweet music, my little Chapo. Oh, Chapo, my pony, Chapo, my pride, Chapo, mi amigo, Chapo, I'll ride from Mexico's border across Texas llano to the Salt Pecos River. I ride you, Chapo. Oh, Chapo, my pony, Chapo, my pride, Chapo, mi amigo, Chapo, I'll ride from Mexico's border across Texas llano to the Salt Pecos River. I ride you, Chapo.
Yeah, that one is leaking like hell, man.
We ain't gonna brand them, we're just gonna keep it.
Yeah, that one.
We was camped out on the plains at the head of the Cimarron. Along come a stranger and he stopped to argue some. He looked so very foolish and began to look around. We thought he was a greenhorn and just escaped from town. We'd asked if he had had breakfast and he had not had a sniff.
He's not infected right now, is he?
We opened up the chuck box and told him help himself. He took a little beefsteak, a biscuit and some beans, and he then begun to talk about the foreign kings and queens. He talked about the Spanish War and fighting on the sea, with guns as big as beef steers and ramrods big as trees. And he talked about old Paul Jones, a fighting son of a gun, and he said he was the grittiest cuss that ever pulled a gun. Such an educated feller, his thoughts just come in herds. He astonished all us punchers with his jaw-breaking words. He just kept right on talking till he made the boys all sick, and we began to look around for how to play a trick. He said he lost his job out upon the Santa Fe, and he was going across the plains to strike the 7D. But he didn't say how come it, just some trouble with his boss. He said he'd like to borrow a nice fat saddle horse. This tickled all the boys to death. We laughed down in their sleeves. Said that he could have a horse as fresh as he would please. So Shorty grabbed the lasso and he roped the zebra dun and led him to the stranger as we waited for the fun. Now old Dunny was an outlaw, he had grown so awful wild. He could paw the white out of the moon every jump for a mile. And he always stood right still, just like he didn't know, until he was saddled and ready for the go. Now the stranger hit the saddle and old Dunny quit the earth. He went straight up in the air for all that he was worth, a bawling and a squalling and having a walleye fit, with his hind feet perpendicular and his front ones in the bit. Now we could see the tops of trees beneath him every jump. The stranger, he was growed there just like a camel's hump. And he sat up there upon him and he curled his black mustache just like a summer boarder, a-waiting for his hash. Now he thumped him in the shoulders and he spurred him when he whirled. He showed us flunky punchers, he's the wolf of this old world. And when he had dismounted once again upon the ground, why, we knew he was a thoroughbred and not a gent from town. Now the boss, he was a-standing and a-watching all the show. He walks right up to him and he asked him not to go. If you can use the lasso like you rode the zebra dun, then you're the man I've looked for ever since the year of one. Well, he could use a lasso and he didn't do it slow. The cattle, they stampeded, he was always on the go. A one thing and a sure thing that I learned since I was born.
No.
Every educated feller, he ain't a plum greenhorn.
Yeah. I got my rifle. You can try it with that.
Shit, I don't want to blow the asshole of him out.
No. Yeah. Yes, sir, cowboy.
We'll go shoot later on. We'll go
Yeah? Oh, I can shoot. I can shoot. Trust me. Ow! No.
I'll tell you a story.
You just
that'll
ran over
thrill
my
you,
foot.
I know, of a horse I once owned a long time ago. You'll gaze at his picture with wandering eyes, then at the arrow that hangs by his side. Swift as an antelope and black as a crow, with a star on his forehead as white as the snow. His arched neck was covered with a dark flowing mane. I called him Petonio, the pride of the plain. The country was new and the settlers were scarce. The Indians on the warpath were savage and fierce. Though the scouts were sent out every day from the fort, yet they never returned and we knew they were lost. One day the captain says someone must go across the dark borders of New Mexico. A dozen young fellows straight away answered here, but the captain spied me, I was standing right near. Petonio was by me, his nose in my hand. Said the captain, your horse is the best in the land. You're good for the ride, you're the lightest man here. On the back of that Mustang you have nothing to fear. Proud of my pony, I answered, you know, Petonio and I are both willing to go. For speed and endurance I'll trust in my black. Then they all shook my hand and I mounted his back. Turned down the dark pathway, turned his head to the right. The black struck a trot and he kept it all night. When far back behind me I heard a shrill wail, I knew that the Indians were hot on my trail. I jingled the bells at the end of his rein, spoke his name softly and stroked his dark mane. Petonio, he answered with a nod of his head. His dark body lengthened as faster we sped. We were leaving the Indians, the story was plain. The arrows fell around us like torrents of rain. Petonio, he stumbled and I knew he was hurt, but still he raced onward and into the fort. I delivered the message, then turned to dismount, but the pain in my foot was so bad I could not. The arrow you see hanging there on the wall had passed through my foot, saddle, stirrup, and all. With good care and patience, Pat and I were soon well. Of his death many years later I will not try to tell. Of all the fine horses I've rode o'er the range, there was none like Petonio, the pride of the plain. Sam Bass was born in Indiana, it was his native home. And at the age of 17, young Sam begun to roam. And he first come out to Texas, a cowboy for to be, a kinder-hearted fellow you hardly ever see. He used to deal in race stock, one called the Denton mare, and he run her in scrub races, and he took her to the fair. And she always won the money, wherever she might be. And Sam, he liked good whiskey, and he spent his money free. Young Sam left the Collins Ranch in the merry month of May, with a herd of Texas cattle for the Black Hills far away. Sold out in Custer City, and then went on a spree, a harder set of cowboys you seldom ever see. On their way back to Texas, they robbed the UP train. They split up in couples, then they started out again. Joel Collins and his partner, they was overtaken soon. With all their hard-earned money, they's about to meet their doom. Sam made it back to Texas, all right side up with care. He rode into the town of Denton with all his friends to share. Sam's life was short in Texas, 3 robberies he did do. He robbed all the passengers, mail and express cars too. Sam had 4 companions, 4 bold and daring lads. They were Underwood and Jackson, Joel Collins and Old Dad. More bold and daring cowboys the Rangers never knew. They run the Texas Rangers, and they whipped the boys in blue. Now Sam had another companion, called Arkansas for short, was shot by a Texas Ranger by the name of Thomas Floyd. Tom's a big 6-footer, and he thinks he's mighty fly, but I'll tell you boys, his racket, he's a deadbeat on the sly. Jim Murphy was arrested, then released on bail, and he jumped his bond in Tyler, and he took the train for Terrell. But Major Jones had posted Jim, and that was all a stall. 'Twas only a plan to capture Sam before the come-in fall. Sam met his fate at Round Rock, July the 21st. They filled poor Sam with rifle balls, they emptied out his purse. Poor Sammy is a corpse now, and he's 6 feet under clay, and Jackson's in the bushes, and he's trying to get away. Jim had borrowed Sam's good gold, and he didn't want to pay. The only shot he saw was to give poor Sam away. And he sold out Sam and Barnes, and he left their friends to mourn. And oh, what a scorching Jim will get when Gabriel blows his horn.
She didn't need to be branded.
He sold out Sam and Barnes, and he left their friends to mourn. Oh, what a scorching Jim will get when Gabriel blows his horn. Now perhaps he's gone to heaven, there ain't none of us can say, but if I'm right in my surmise, he's gone the other way.